1, 2, 3, go. Hi, Lori. How are you this week?
Yes, we're doing now.
I think we're recording. This is why we don't do traditional things, because it's traditional.
Too stage for us.
If we're live, we're live. I'm ready to go.
They like run the team. Like
my
if
gosh,
things
100%.
would just fall apart if there was an equipment manager
Yes.
or was an equipment manager team, and people have no clue. I mean,
Whoever put you guys last are just haters, and clearly they don't understand the Portland culture.
But from the start, we were kind of like, okay, like
Yeah.
not to Mel Robbins everybody, but like let them put us last, like whatever.
and then they all happen to retire and leave the team at the same time. So then comes Sam Coffey. Okay, everybody, here we are.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'm like,
You have to
all
leave
at the
this
same
team.
time, really? Do we want to like
Yeah.
stagger it out a little bit? Yeah.
Exactly.
Christina Unkel here with the Soccerish podcast. Both Lori Lindsey and I get the incredible opportunity to interview gold medalist Sam Coffey, your Portland Thorns number 6 and U.S. Women National Team player. We get the opportunity not just to ask Sam about obviously the pressure she has to deal with, especially as NWSL is going into their playoff hunt, but also importantly how she performs and how she operates under pressure both for club and country, and really where she sees the game of not just soccer but women's sports is going and how she's contributing to it. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Traffic was not fun.
Oh, shame on you, Sam. Hi, I'm Christina, by the
Sorry.
way. Nice to officially
Hi.
meet you via podcast.
And this is live, Sam. You know that, right? So
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
We did laugh because we typically surprise Lori and I surprise each other with like guests on it, and so this one we both knew, and so we're like, do we do this traditional or do we do it like our way, which is complete chaos, untraditional.
Nice.
You launch people in, and then you just go and have fun because that's
Love it.
Life's
Yeah,
too short.
that sounds good.
Life's
Yeah,
too
that
short.
sounds good.
Awesome. Well, yep, Christina Unkel, obviously Lori Lindsey, you know her very well. And thanks for joining us. Like we've had like so many questions, obviously ups and downs of like where everything's going, and just excitement of seeing like your trajectory in your career moving in those directions. And I know Lori and I have lots of questions. They're probably not going to be the same questions you typically get on a podcast, by the way. They're not going to be like, hey, tell us how, your NWSL season's going and blah, 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 blah. Like your work does the magic. We're probably going to be asking you things, or I know I'm going to be asking you things like, just because I get asked this all the time, right? So referee family, my husband refereed also in Major League Soccer, NWSL, and FIFA. The question I get from a lot of people is like, do we sit around the table and talk about red and yellow card incidents every single day? So now I got to flip that to you. You having a journalistic family, like, do you guys sit around the table and just talk sports when you were growing up?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I feel like all roads kind of lead back to some sport or some team, usually New York-based sports teams. Yeah, because my dad was, and still is, a sports writer. He never really took like role as fan, so I wouldn't say we were like diehard anything fans growing up. Maybe outside of like the Yankees, I would say the Yankees kind of stuck for us, but. Yeah, I mean, I feel like most, conversations around the dinner table or, we were constantly just like having a catch or throwing a football or obviously me like kicking stuff around the house and driving my mom crazy and breaking all of her belongings and potted plants and everything with the soccer ball. Yeah, all conversations probably had something to do with sports or led back to sports. And my brother's, a massive sport fan and kind of still works in the field. My sister, obviously, too. So to answer your question, yes.
Wait, is that still the same though, Sam? Is it like when you all get together? And also, last time I spoke with you, your entire family either was just coming or had just came to the previous home game, and it was like, "Hey, come hike
Yeah.
this with us." And you're like, "I actually have a game. That's
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
work." So-
Yeah. Yes, yes. Maybe even more so now. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my brother, specifically my brother and my dad, like, I feel like they know every stat about every sport that has like ever existed. I'm like, how do you know that just like off the top of your head? And then obviously like my sister adds an interesting dynamic into it with her knowledge of like feature writing for the Phillies and just knowing baseball super well and working in that field. So We do talk about other things as well, but I do think the blend of like their love and knowledge of sports and then my kind of experience as a professional now in the field and kind of offering like a different point of view has been really cool. But yeah, it's always a chaotic time when they were in town. They were doing all the best Portland things and wanting me to come and join. I'm like, I do have a game. Like I kind of need to focus on that, and then afterward we can have some fun, and we did. It was really special to have them out here.
Please tell me your mom hates sports, because that would be hilarious if she's surrounded by a bunch of
She
people.
does. My mom's a really good tennis player. I would say like tennis is her big sport. I wouldn't say she's as like I mean, obviously she now no other choice but like loves soccer. But I wouldn't say she's as like maybe nerdy for lack of a better term about it as my dad and my brother and my sister. But she's a huge tennis fan, like loves playing, goes to the US Open all the time. Never really worked as like a sports journalist, but definitely, I feel like being married to my father, like you don't really have a choice. And so she's always just along for the ride. Definitely has the love for the Yankees as well. So she kind of just goes where the rest of us go too.
That's
Well,
awesome.
yeah, love that. Well, correct us if you're wrong. You were a journalism major, right? Is that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So, if you were playing soccer, what would that kind of look like, do you see? Or how would you foresee, like, what stories would you want to be telling stories? What would that look like?
Yeah. It's hard to even like think about that as like I do think about like, okay, well, if I didn't do this, what would I do? And I feel like that's a question we're often asked. But with that major and that kind of specialty in mind, I feel like it's not that common of a major, but I mean, kind of checks out right for where I'm from. I do really I think my sister does really amazing work, and like she used to be a beat writer for the Phillies and kind of doing more like game report style of writing, now transitioning into like feature writing, and so really like telling the stories of the players that no one else would maybe know. And she's constantly finding these like angles and yeah, like untold stories that I think are just so unique. And it goes into, again, like players on the team, but then also like the support staff. She wrote one about, I think, the guy who serves Dippin' Dots or ice cream at the Phillies stadium. So just like these really niche, unique stories that deserve to be told and like the world I think needs to hear. And she does it in such a beautiful and eloquent way. And I've always looked to the work that she does as I think something that would be really fun to do. And maybe telling a different kind of story than the ones we're used to listening to. So
Yeah, I'm familiar with her work because obviously I'm in Philly. I don't know if you knew
yeah,
that actually. Yeah, but
I didn't know
is
that.
she right in the city? Does she live right in the city? Or is she outside?
Yes, she does. She used to live in Fishtown.
Fishtown. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
Yep.
now she doesn't. She doesn't live there anymore. I wish I knew her neighborhood off the top of my head,
No,
but I
that's
don't.
fair. I'm in South
But
Philly, so
Fishtown.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah. But she loves Philly. She
Same.
loves living there. She loves obviously the work she gets to do, but like it is such a fun city, and I think she's really fallen in love with
No,
it.
I
So
completely agree. Every time I always travel a ton for NWSL and MLS and just the coverage. But every time I fly back in, I'm like, yes. And then
yay.
that's how you know, because it's just like, yeah,
Yeah,
just a
it's such a
wonderful
cool
city.
community. Yeah, it is. It is a really cool city.
Oh man. So I actually wrote this as a sticky note because our producer had written something called Coffee's Corner. And I was like, I love it. Like, we
Oh,
need
okay.
a segment for you where you get to go off and find these unique stories and these one-off stories to start getting your reps
Employ
in,
me.
start getting your credits in. We'll pass
I
it
know.
on
I
to
honestly, I have to like I have to like really be intentional with stimulating my brain because I don't know if you felt this, Lori, when you were playing, but like sometimes I'm like, man, I haven't like been to school in so long. Like I haven't really used I mean, now you're obviously using your brain in a wonderful way, but like I need some of that mental stimulation and things that aren't just looking at a tactics board and scouting the next team that you're going to play in a week, but like, yeah, kind of dusting off those writing skills
Yeah.
and letting the rest go and trying to do something a little bit more intellectual. So I would definitely take you up on that.
I think that is kind of cool because it's like that's kind of why Lori and I are doing Soccerish, right? Like we started with like the Soccer Podcast USA, and we were like, okay, we want to tell these stories about how do we create soccer as something that's one of the top sports here in the United States. Like, how do we get the fandom? How do we tell these? And then it kind of just kept merging, especially with like the people we know about. Like, okay, they might be maybe like 1 to 2 to maybe 5 degrees removed from soccer, but like how
Yeah.
do we tell the ish, and that's the ish part of these stories. And to your point,
Yeah.
like those are the things that get us excited. So like for me, it's like we can talk tactics. Obviously, Lori's one of the best in the country in breaking
Yeah.
all of that stuff down, but it's just like I mean, she could go do that for big CBS and MLS
Yeah.
and do that. Like, here we want to tell those. So, like, if you had a story that you could think that you feels like needs to be told now that you know just in the back of your mind, what would it be? This is your coffee corner segment.
Oof. Oh my gosh, like about anything?
Yeah, like what's a cool story like that you think like needs to be told? Because I'm with you. I love what equipment managers do. I'm so impressed by our
Yeah.
equipment manager here, Courtney. And mind you, it's Equipment Manager Appreciation Day, so I got a margarita to go. I was like, drink this when you get home. But
Oh,
like
I
some
love
of their
that.
stories are just not told. So which one's one that you think?
Oh man, I mean, I think there's so many like within our organization, kind of like you're already alluding to, like with equipment managers or our support staff, like these people behind the scenes that do so much work and like so much thankless work
Mm,
for us to be our best and to like their job is literally to serve us and like ensure that we have everything that we need. And again, like I said, I think so many times it's um I mean, it's grueling work, but it is overlooked work, I think, at times because, we're the ones kind of out there on the field and putting out the final product, but like we can't do that unless we have, like, I couldn't play this past weekend if like our equipment manager, Willie, didn't help me like get my custom boots that I just got ordered for my foot pain because it's been bad. And like, she helped me so much with that. And like, I wouldn't be able to do that if not for her. And so it's like I think stories like that are, again, like we're talking about so often untold, that have such a tremendous impact on like the success of a team. And I think we've created a culture in Portland, um, that I think we try to be as intentional as we can about like celebrating and lifting up those people that do so much for us. I think especially for us as players, like I think that's been a huge focus for us is um like one, what kind of culture do we want to create and how do we best like treat the people around us, treat the people that are often like in these positions of like support staff, and wanting them to feel as like loved and cared for and celebrated in ways little and small or little and big, that they don't just feel like their work is being overlooked or like that it isn't for nothing, because we wouldn't be the team we are or where we are in the season if not for so much of that work. And so I think there's so many like that I would love to tell. Definitely, if you come to mind, I think an equipment perspective is definitely a great one because that is like, and usually it's just one person, which
hmm
is
That's crazy. I
insane. Like,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Willie has an assistant here in Portland, but I think so much of that responsibility is on her, and she just crushes it and does such a great job. So I definitely think those are the really interesting stories to tell. Yeah.
Also, it's like I love hearing that because I don't think people really realize how much that makes, like even just for specifically talking about the equipment
Yeah.
manager, they like run the team.
Oh
Like
my
if
gosh,
things would
100%.
just fall apart if there was an equipment manager or was
Yes.
an equipment manager team and people have no clue. I mean, even at the national team, right, Sam?
Yeah. Oh
They're
my gosh.
collecting
Yeah.
balls, there's so much
Yes.
more than what they're doing in terms of just making sure that the name's on the back of the jersey properly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It is absurd.
And they're
And
generally like the most selfless people I've ever
yeah,
met. Like they
yeah,
are so willing to do whatever is needed. And like I can't express how like much I feel cared for and like just seen when it's like something so nuanced that like Willie or Sophie ours with the women's national team like know that I like this a certain way, or I prefer to
Mm.
have this instead of
yeah.
that. Like I'm trying to think of an example, but
They're
none of them come
listeners.
to
They're
mind, but there are
listeners.
so many, as you know, like as players, we sometimes have our weird like preferences and superstitions, and like they're always one step ahead of me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, what would I do without you? And like I genuinely have so much gratitude for them, but I mean, even more than that, I don't think our teams have the success that they do if not for the care of the work that they do. And yes, we're talking about equipment, but like that goes for the care of like our medical staff, our communications team, like our operations, all of it, because they will do whatever it takes to like put the team in the best possible position and to ensure that we have everything that we need. And um yeah, I just have a lot of gratitude for that, and I
Yeah.
think their stories definitely deserve to be told.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so shifting a little bit, but also kind of staying on that because I think one of the things, or not, I think one of the things I've really enjoyed watching of your career and just covering the NWSL intimately, but also then the U.S. Women's National Team, is just watching your trajectory, not only as a professional, but also as a leader. And I've talked with you a number of times specifically for the Thorns about obviously Becky, Sink, all Kling, like these players that really were the faces and the identity of the Portland Thorns, and then they all happen to retire and leave the team at the same time. So then comes Sam Coffey. Okay, everybody, here we are.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'm
You
like,
have to
all
lead
at the
this
same
team.
time, really? Do we want to like
Yeah,
stagger it out a little bit? Yeah.
exactly. But kudos to you, because I feel like you've done it with like flying colors and this true, just like just such class, right? And I think it proves why the team in such a that the team has been so young, but you are where you are in the standings right now. So I'll just be curious, because I know a little bit about this, but maybe some of our listeners don't. Just how would you describe your leadership style, but also has that evolved in a short amount of time too within this season?
Yeah, I think it has. And I think it's kind of hard to like classify in one word or like describe it as one thing. I think, and I've probably shared this with you, Lori, but like I think what I always come back to is like the idea of servant leadership and like putting the needs of the team before that of myself and like doing whatever I can to ensure that like I am lifting up the people around me and putting them in the best position possible to like do what they do best and to um set them up for success. And if that's in encouragement or in my communication on the field or like how I'm able to connect with them off the field, like getting coffee, hearing about their life, whatever it might be, um that is what I feel like my job is, and that is what I want to try to do and be all the time. And I think that that really aligns with like even my position as a six, because I think so much of it is like these nuanced details of like setting the people up around you for success. Like it's often kind of an overlooked position, but like I want to be able to play the right foot so that my outside back can take a line breaking touch and like join the attack. And if I play her back foot, then I'm not setting her up for success. And so like even sort of the dichotomy, if you will, of like those two things, both the soccer piece of it, but then obviously just the cultural and the personal side of like, how can I help you be your best self? And how can I allow you to see yourself as like I see you and the team sees you, and like put you in the best position to ultimately like do your job best you can for the team and for the success and the betterment of the team. And so I think that's always just been like a core value of mine and something I've really cherished and loved about leadership, because I think it's easy to come into and be like, wow, like I have a say and I have power, whatever that means. Like you don't. But you have influence. And for me, like I want to cherish that gift and use it to have a positive impact on the people
Yeah.
around me and encourage the people around me too to step into that in their own right and see their own influence and to use that for good as well. So I learn so much every day, honestly, about like what it means, and so many different lessons about like maybe what specific people need and like how I can best communicate with them, because this girl is not like this girl and like she responds differently than she does, and how individually can I learn about the people around me and try to get the best out of them and ultimately be someone that they can just like trust and rely on and come to and just know that is in their corner. So yeah, it's been fun to discover for sure.
Yeah.
You use this word
Love
power,
that.
and I love this word power. And I think you shouldn't shy away from it, right? So, because what your approach is like, it's not power to do something, or it's, oh, sorry, let me clarify. It's not power over someone, but it's
Yeah.
like power to do something. And that just like everything you were saying, I was like, step into that power, right? The leadership side of it and the servant leadership. I'm like, no, you have power to do
Yeah.
something, power to impact your team, power to set them up, power to learn how to best put them in their own. So I love hearing that, because that's really what we need nowadays in this world. So thank you for that, for sure. For sure. But like, how does that feel like now coming into, right, the women's national team? Obviously Emma Hayes, like we get to work, we friends with her. We got to work with her in the women's Euros, and we just, those were some of the best conversations. How does it
Yeah.
feel like now, like receiving that kind of like training, education, guidance from her? Like, are you learning more on the field or off the field from her? Because she's someone too that I don't think it's power over, but it's power to do something.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I think she's like a perfect example of everything I just talked about, like what you do with the influence that you have. And she is not only having a positive influence on our federation, but just, and our team specifically, but like all of women's soccer and women's sports, and like just shining so much light on things that are maybe more taboo topics or like untouched areas of the game, like a women's menstrual cycle and how that aligns to their performance, and women's health, and seeing everything through like a female lens. And I think all of this, like the ripple effect of that work, is going to have such a positive impact, again, yes, on women's soccer, but just on women's sports and sports as a whole. But I don't know, I mean, choosing off the field or on the field, it's hard to decide. I feel so grateful to be coached by her, and to have gotten to know her now so well, and to have the relationship with her that I do. But she is just like a wealth of knowledge, and I feel like I never know what's gonna come out of her mouth next, honestly. But
That's
which
true.
is part of the
That's
fun.
on brand.
But I just like, she is, I mean, absolutely like one of the best coaches I've ever had. But it's just like fun to play for, and
Yeah.
I think and I think that's what people see, like when players are having fun and they're enjoying not only the style of soccer they're playing, but like they enjoy who they're being coached by, and even the joy of that system. Like you see it, you're gonna see it on the field. And I think that's so much of what people see with her is, like, we have freedom, and we have a joy that we're playing with that I think we didn't have for a long time. And to be able to reconnect with that, and to like feel as players as though like you want us to do that, because that is when we're our best, has just been such a cool experience. But I mean, she is absolutely brilliant, yes, as a tactician, but also as just a person, as a leader. And I look forward, obviously, to being able to work with her more. But I learn something new from her every day, and like I said, she definitely is unpredictable, so it's always a surprise what will come out of her mouth next.
Okay,
But we
well,
always have a good time.
no, we know that very well, and
I bet
she's a
you
dear
do,
friend
yeah.
of ours, so it's like making us smile. But I do want to go back in a second to the Thorns and talk about the playoff race, but let's stick with the national team real quickly. And you maybe have kind of already answered a little bit of this, but I'm just curious from your point of view, even if it's not just the past year, maybe the last 2 years, what do you feel like is the biggest change in the environment? Like, where has the biggest shifts taken place? And that could
Oh,
be on the field, that could
yeah.
be off the field, just kind of however you want to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of shifts, if I'm being honest, and so many, like, almost, I mean, in my opinion, like exclusively positive ones and good ones. I think this might sound kind of general, but like there is such an intention to everything that we do. And I think it's easy in this profession, especially when like the seasons are long and you play what feels like 1 million games, and it's just like a slog sometimes to just kind of like get caught up in the motions, and um just some like lose a bit of that intentionality with it. And I feel like everything in our environment, from the food we're eating, to the meetings we have, to the things we're talking about in those meetings, to the type of recovery we're being offered, to the women's health education we're being given, to then what we're doing on the field, like everything is done with a purpose and with intention. And and that purpose is known and understood by everyone in the environment.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
when you have like a collective understanding like that, and that's from like top to bottom, whatever that means, like the environment doesn't really work like that. It very much so feels like you are celebrated to do your best in your role, whatever that role might be. It could be the person driving our bus, to like, our head coach, to a player on the team, whatever. Like there is such I think, a celebration too of like what people do and what they bring. And then also just I think a real unity around like, what are we here to do and why are we doing this? It's not like, oh, this feels random. Like, why are we like there? It feels very much so understood. So I would say it does sound a little bit general, maybe, to put it that way. But um, I think for us as players too, like going into a World Cup cycle, like that is more important than ever. And that isn't something that has just started, like that started the second she got here.
Yeah.
And I think having that clarity too as a player is like so nice to have, because sometimes things do not feel clear, and that is not fun. But that is not at all my experience with her and the team. And it's like, what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're going to do it, and everyone is on the same page about that, and that is like really, really fun to be a part of.
Lori's like, no, Lori
Oh.
loves not having clarity.
Does
Yeah.
that answer your question?
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
if
I
you're
thought that
looking
was
for more of like oh,
no, I
maybe
think
like,
that is
but we
terrific.
also have like a barista, so that's also one of
Yeah, I
What?
mean,
Lori, did you have a
yeah,
barista in your days?
get up, Christina. Are you trying to age me?
I'm sorry, Lori. I'm
No.
sorry.
I didn't know about the barista, but that's awesome. But I think, I mean, this just prove it's like
It's
everything that we're
dangerous.
working
It's
for, right? It's
dangerous.
everything that you've
Yeah.
talked about. It's like the support,
Yeah.
just growing the game, the visibility,
Yeah.
everybody being celebrated, and then that's what moves not only women's soccer but women's sports forward.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that, right? Like you all, I love that you have a barista. I knew that, and that's exactly. It's like, what is the most comfortable environment you can be in while you're ready to compete
Yes.
and put yourself out there with the amount of games that everybody's playing, with
Right.
everything that you're doing. Yeah, no, I think it's exceptional. That was spot
When it's
on. I
like,
loved
what do
hearing what
I
you said.
need? Like, what do I need? Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't do something or you don't, yeah, like if you're not doing something, it's on you because you have access to it. Like, there is nothing we don't have access to. And even if it's just for like, I'm talking recovery, nutrition, barista for real. Like we talked about that. It's like we have some avid coffee drinkers, myself included, on the team. And it's like, if this makes your life easier before training, before games, like we're going to bring that in to make that happen. And it's like anything that you feel like you need as a player, it is being taken care of. And there is such a level of professionalism. And I think just support that I think is still fairly new for women's soccer players and female athletes
Totally.
in general, and we still very much so are like continuing to fight for that at the club level and globally. But in so many ways I feel like our environment is setting the standard with that.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, obviously it's like wonderful to be a part of in that way, but it
You're like,
also
thank you so
opens
much.
your eyes. Yeah, thank you so much. But then it's like, okay, like here you go. Like there's no reason that you don't have, like, for you not to prepare best you can for every training, every game, every meeting. Like you have everything at your disposal. So it's up to you, and it's up to you to make that choice. But I think it also goes to prove, like, when we do support women in this way and we do offer them more times than not, like the same thing that our male counterparts are being offered on a more frequent basis, like look what we can do with the support that we're being given, and like what a difference that makes. So it's just been, I love camp.
No, actually, that's how it should be, right? Though that's like, it's
Yeah.
because people don't realize how tough, like, club and country, and that
Yes, it's hard.
yeah, I mean, with the amount of games, the travel, the NWSL travel they have, like people just don't understand, and it is really 11 months out of 12-month year that you are asked to be
on
and at your best, which is like never asked in any other profession, I feel like. So
No.
like that is why all these the littlest things like a barista is so important, even though it seems like trivial. It is like,
no,
it's like, it's not.
Well, you
Camp would
guys
not be fun without
deserve
it.
it though. Like you guys deserve this stuff because like you have the pressure. I think you use the word, Sam, I think you use the word pressure. You guys have the hardest pressure in. I remember being in a FIFA meeting and they were talking about how the number of women or just the number of players around this world that actually from organized football end up playing professional soccer. And it came out to like 1.6%. It was like this ridiculously small number of people, men and women, who become professional athletes.
And also, you're just not even playing. It's not just about playing professional soccer. You're fighting for the barista. You're fighting for everything. It's like it's like so much more.
You're proving you're worth the
exactly
whatever the fill in the blank is. So you're very much so like, not only are you asked to perform, but you're also asked to like continue to fight and build and like propel this movement forward that we all care so deeply about. And it is very much so like you are making it as you're doing it. And so totally, Lori, like there is the added pressure of like, okay, well, you're being given this. Are you gonna win with it, essentially? Because if not, it could be taken away. And and I don't feel that in the US soccer environment. Like I'm not saying that is the narrative at all, but like for us as women's athletes, I think in many sports, and in obviously specifically in my experience in women's soccer, like that is the battle you are fighting. It is like, I want to win games. I want to be my best. But at the same time, like there is this thing that is so much bigger than me also happening that I care so deeply about, that I want to help continue to fight for. And that performance and my being my best matters directly to that. So
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
lot,
and also
guys.
just because of the discrepancies alone in salaries, it's also
Yeah.
like preparation of what does life look like after this finite
Yep.
career that you have. So
Mm-hmm.
there's so much
Yeah.
like an emotional aspect to it, I feel like as well. So,
Yeah.
okay, now that we have like gotten that out of the way, all the important things, I do because obviously the NWSL playoff race is like so pertinent right now. We could go on about the
Yeah.
national team and everything, but
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about this because you are a young team, you're in a good spot, but it is like one of the tightest races outside of Kansas City that we've ever seen, right? And even though the general theme of it in NWSL is parity, what does the pressure feel like? Do you feel pressure on a daily basis? You have a huge game coming up against Gotham this weekend. So yeah, how important is that game? Like all of those questions wrapped into one, because I do feel like they all make sense
How much
together.
pressure do you feel from the
Yeah.
pressure of that question?
I'm
There
like,
you
whoa,
go.
Lori, back up. Now I feel scared. No, I mean, look, like I don't need to tell you guys, like it's crazy out there. Like it's so nuts. I try to make it a habit to not look at the table because I'm like,
Yeah.
what's even the point? Until the season's
Ah.
done. Like I don't. We're all tied, pretty much. That's the moral of the
Yeah,
story.
that
Is
is
everyone's tied. Like
I feel like that's
I'm like,
NWSL
oh my
every
gosh,
year,
we're
though.
in fourth. Like we're in fourth, and then I'm like, but it's like you lose one game, you're in 12th. So it's like that is the joy and the beauty of our league, and what makes it so fun to compete in. I think with that, like yes, our game this weekend is a big one. We're super fired up for it. It's gonna be great. I think like at this point in the year, it comes down to like just one day at a time and like not looking past today. And today I had training and then I had to recover and I had a lift and then like what do I do with the rest of my day and like being my best today. And then we travel tomorrow and then it's game day. And then like it's so easy to like step out and be like, oh my gosh, Gotham, and then we're home, and then like this, and then this case scenario could happen, and then like if they win, then we're here, but if they lose, then we're here, and it's like this is madness. I can't do this. I can't live my life this way. And it's so, again, it's easy to fall into that narrative and to become so overwhelmed by every possible case scenario because, like, that's what, no offense, you guys, the media wants us to hear. And, like, it's like, that's the buzz of the league, which makes it so fun to be a fan of. But as a player in it, I find, and I think the team is really thriving off of just like, a one game at a time mentality, one day at a time mentality. How do we be our best and pay attention to all the little details that contribute to our success just today, taking care of that, taking care of our details on travel, taking care of our match day -1, and then taking care of business on Friday. So, and then when you're able to minimize it down to these like little tasks almost and just these little mountains that you get to climb and conquer, then you're doing it and then you get to the end of the year and you're like, wow, okay, here we are. And hopefully it's successful. So I just find being present and just like enjoying it. Like it is so fun. Like everybody had us picked for last. So I'm like, you know what? Look at us go. And like, yeah, we're not where we want to be. And there's so many things we still like, we want to improve on and we're hungry and we're driven and like, we feel all that so personally and we take that so seriously, but it's balancing that like desire to grow and be better with also like we're also doing great and we should be proud, and how do we kind of hold those two things in tandem, because you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low.
That's always the key.
But just like enjoying it, like this is why we play, like this is why we love to be in this field, is like this is epic, like this is the best league to play in that way, because it's just so wild and so competitive and so good. You get to play against the best players and you get to have a young team that people counted out that's like fighting for a home playoff game, which I just think is like incredible. And obviously there's many other teams that have epic stories this season as well. So I would say being present, enjoying it, and I think just like leaning into the fun of pressure instead of just like the weight that pressure can feel like too.
Oh, I love it. Whoever put you guys last are just haters, and clearly they don't understand the Portland culture, because if you've ever been in Portland, like.
But from the start, we were kind of like, okay, like, not to Mel Robbins everybody, but like, let them put us last, like, whatever. And I'm reading her book right now, you guys. It's really good.
Wait, what is it?
Mel Robbins?
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, just didn't hear.
Yeah, no. And so, like, we have no control over what people think of us, but, like, we know what's in this locker room and we know what we're capable of. So let's just, like, we got nothing to lose. Let's just get after it and do what we know we can do. And that's kind of been our mindset this whole year, honestly. And it's been very fun to be a part of.
Speaking of, if we get Mel Robbins, Sam, we are bringing you back so you can interview her as well
please.
too. But I know
I'm
we're
a big
wrapping up
fan.
on time with you. But Lori, unless you have a last question, I got a question
No, that
here.
was
So
amazing. Yeah, please go.
yeah. So speaking of Mel Robbins, if there was one person, one dream guest that you get to interview, so Lori and I can go off and try to find this person for you. Who would it be?
Oh, do they have to be alive?
Well, I can't find someone that's dead, but yes.
Okay, well, I don't know if this is a hypothetical interview or if it's like, I don't know. It's like if you could have dinner with one person.
Give us
like,
an alive one, and then someone who might have been from the past.
Oh my gosh. One person to interview. That's hard.
Lori, do you have one on tap?
No, I'm over here feeling the pressure and hoping Sam can come up with one.
Like, do we want like in the soccer world or just like anyone?
Anyone.
Let's do this. Let's do the
go ahead,
soccer
Lori. You
world.
want the
Come on,
soccer
yeah.
world?
The soccer world?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that makes it narrows it down for you a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I feel like that's your fan base too. It's probably like if I give some like poet, they're probably not going to care, right?
It's okay. Mine probably would be Jane Austen, so it's okay.
Yeah. In the soccer world, there's so many cool people. How do I pick one? I'm gonna go. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't know if you guys have heard, but I love Arsenal. I think I could pick like a lot of the players. Like I have a personal obsession with Declan Rice, but that's besides the point. I would honestly say I'd love to interview Mikel Arteta because I think that he,
Nice. Yep.
I think he just has had such a journey there at the club, and as a fan, like it's been really cool to just watch like people go from like literally being like Arteta out every week and him being like, no, this is gonna work, I promise you, and then just seeing it unfold over the last like 5 years and just like their success now, and obviously like still haven't won the league, which is like a bummer, but just where they've come from even like 2018, 2019, 2020 Arsenal to now. And I think just his philosophy and I've loved their like all or nothing.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the all or nothing like Prime?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's just so cool to get that inside look and just like see him as a leader and as a coach and a tactician. And I would just have like a lot of questions for him. So I'll go with Mikel.
Oh, you hear that, Kev, our producer? You got to go get Arteta online so she can talk to him as well.
Let me know.
That's a guarantee.
Okay,
Awesome.
what's yours, Lori? Now you have to
Oh, goodness. Okay, I would do Meg. Rapinoe and I are great friends, so I would do like an interview with Meg, just like a sit down and walk around. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like Gary Neville used to do kind of like the walk arounds. He would just go in a park and he would do like Wayne Rooney did, done David Beckham. We would just take a walk. We would just shoot the banter, get to know on a different level.
Fun.
Yeah, it's like a fun.
Fun.
It's a cool way to like get to know people. Because I love Meg, and so I just feel like let's shoot the.
That would be a good one.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That would be solid, especially with like Meg on loose. She's able to say more now than before ever.
Yeah. Get her in.
Awesome, Sam. Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. All the best this weekend as you guys go against Gotham. Looking forward to it. It's just, like I said, love watching the NWSL. Love watching how, like to your point, there's always parity to it and the competition side of it. And it's always exciting. And from the referee side of it, I always used to tell people every point matters early in the season because at the end of the season, you guys are all separated by a point. So
literally points, scraping for points. Yeah. Thank you. But I appreciate you guys. It's always a pleasure getting to chat with you. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And good luck. Travel easy. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Soccerish podcast. You can follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and as well, follow us on social media. And we'll see you next week.